There we go. Monique, how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Thank God. Thank God.
Good.
So we were talking just a minute ago. This is a real background, right? This
Yes.
is
I thought it was like a screensaver or something, like a backdrop.
I changed during COVID actually. I turned the walk-in closet into my library. And
Nice.
I was teaching virtual classes out of here.
Oh, okay.
So this is, everybody had to make a little change. So I sacrificed, my closet
Okay.
and
Yeah,
turned it
you
into
definitely have to make some suggestions on some good reads because your library is deep back there. I love it.
I will definitely, and technically it's a library. We got a
Yes.
thousand books here,
Uh-huh.
so
Okay.
so technically,
Technically.
The Rivera Memorial Library.
Okay.
Um,
I love it.
but yeah, no, you're welcome by anytime. I'll bring some down in South Jersey.
Okay. You should. You should.
I know you have, I don't want to say unconventional background, but very different than what you're doing now, right? So how does one start in one place and end up just realtor, investor, mom, wife, just crushing it, right? So how, not
Yeah.
an easy road, right? Not a simple road, but how, where does the spark come from
Yeah.
your background to where you are now?
That's a great question. And you're right. I have, I guess, two careers.
Right,
So, I'm a mother and a wife. I have three children. And initially when I started out, right, you have to take care of your family. So my
right,
first career was all about whatever I had to do to make sure my children had what they needed.
right,
So I worked for a telecommunication company. They paid all the bills, great insurance, all the things you need, right? So no regrets there. I stayed there for 23 years.
wow,
I did a host of things. I started in the call center. I moved out. I did some things in HR. I did some things in marketing. I did retail. I did indirect retail. I did sales. I did learning and development. Like I had a host of
wow,
experience in the company. So I learned a lot during that journey. And then I came to another phase of life where my children are grown.
mm,
And as companies do, they change. So they offered a package. They were looking to reduce workforces. And, it was a time in my life where I could do it. But then, like, okay, I'm leaving. What do I do?
right,
And at that time, I already had two rental properties. I
okay,
had lived in a house. My husband and I moved out of that house and bought another house. So we took those houses and we just rented them out. And then my husband has been a contractor for years. His father was, he is, his brother is. So it just made sense that let's do real estate, right? So it's so funny. My initial purpose in leaving was to be Monique Moore, the real estate investor, right? That was
right,
it. We're
right.
gonna we're gonna buy, we're gonna flip, we're gonna get some more rental properties.
HGTV.
Yeah, absolutely. That was it. That was it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That was it. So I did that. I left. We bought a few more rentals. We started flipping properties. But somewhere along the line, I'm like, oh, I want to learn more about real estate. Let me go out and get my real estate license.
Okay.
So that's how that came about. Got my license. And right away, I started getting clients from my sphere, from people that I know,
Yeah.
just a natural progression. And what I found out was I loved it. Right. So for me, it was the first time in my life I actually had a career or a job that I chose. Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the other ones
Interesting.
were just my path that were guided as I was trying to take care of my family.
Sure.
This was something that I chose to do. And I found how much I loved it.
So there
And
was
so,
like a level of passion. That, and
yes.
and what was it? Was it the kind of, and it's not hospitality, but there's a huge level of service and getting close to people. You're selling their home, you're moving out of family, you're giving them a new place to live. Was it that connected for you, or was it um just a level of ambition where you could work and the sky's the limit?
I'm a natural workaholic anyway, but it wasn't that for me. It was the natural desire to help others.
Got it.
And it's not out of a place of recognition or looking to be in the spotlight. It's just that fuels me.
Right.
Being able to help somebody purchase such a huge investment in their life. It makes a change in someone's life. And so what I realized is over the years, even when I worked for Verizon, people come to me now and I help them with so many things. I never thought about it. It's just who I am and what I do. And
Right.
so now I'm more intentional with that and that love, and that drives me. And that's what keeps me going every day to continue to work for my clients and my customers. And yeah, it's just something that I love. That's where my
It's who you
passion is.
are. It's who
It
you
is.
are.
It is. It is.
And was the thought to get, starting and being a landlord and flipping property, was that something that you just felt that you needed to do, or was it something that you really kind of studied? I know a lot of people kind of take a, you know will investigate and then jump in. Or
Uh-huh.
was it just like, we got this house, let's make a couple dollars, grab the mister and get it done?
Yeah. So the initial thought was, we know that properties appreciate over time. We know the value of real estate. We both knew that going in. So it was like, let's not sell them. Let's keep them. Let's put some tenants in here.
Okay.
And then that was my first experience with working with like a Section 8 client and helping them. And that story is totally amazing because over 20 years ago, I moved out of that house. I rented it to a tenant. She was a Section 8 tenant. She's an amazing woman. She's a foster parent.
Hmm.
She had several foster children that she eventually adopted, and these children are thriving, right?
Wow.
So she worked very hard, and then she told me at some point she wanted to buy the house. And I did want to sell it. And I kind of wanted to sell it right away. But when she said she wanted to buy it, I'm like, I'm going to wait for her to buy it, right? Because this woman is giving of herself. If I can contribute anything to that, I will. So I
Wow.
waited for her to be ready to buy the house. And her and one of her foster children bought the house together. And so they now own the house, right?
It's
So
just
now
like
what better,
tears. Tears.
right? What better feeling that you can help somebody who's working hard, who came from where she came from, who has been giving to these children who needed her in their time when they didn't have anybody, to be able to do that.
Do,
So that was the start. That was the
right.
start.
Oh my gosh, it's like balling over here,
Right,
right?
right, right,
do
right.
do you
Tears of
do you,
joy, though.
Tears of joy, tears of joy,
Yes,
definitely.
yes.
Do you find that, and you see both sides of it, the sales part and the investment part, clearly, and we'll get on to that. But it seems like, and this is a ton of people will second this, that real estate and residential real estate is kind of that first stepping stone to creating wealth, to creating stability, to creating something, especially in this country, right?
Yeah, I do. I agree. And I've heard different lines of thought, but I do believe that owning your own is the first step. And when we look at the wealth gap in our country, and we look at um, African Americans compared to other cultures, we are so far behind. And the biggest wealth piece of wealth gap is home ownership. So
Interesting.
that's where, when you look at the numbers, it is glaring at us. So that is why I think the first step is to own your own home where you are. I mean, why pay rent and that money just goes out the window? You get no tax deductions. This other person's paying off their mortgage. You're getting none of that appreciation. When you walk away, you have nothing. Maybe your security deposit with a couple
Right.
of pennies worth of interest, right?
Sure.
But you're not really walking away with anything. When you buy a home, you have that appreciation that happens. You're paying down that loan. And so when you have equity and when you walk away from there, you have something. You can leverage that to pay for your kids to go to college, or pay for that wedding, whatever it is that you need to do, or retire and downsize. But it's just a huge step that we just need to do more often.
I would agree. I would agree because, like you said, that equity in that home is useful for so many things,
So many things.
right?
Yes.
So telecommunications, first of all, 20 years, right? Who And it flies by, right?
Right, it flies
Raising
by.
you're raising the kids, you're working, you're investing, and then what was the point where it clicked when you said, A, I'm going to probably be doing this for the rest of my life, and then B, I want to turn it up. We have to turn up and scale this thing. What was the one thing? Was it the check with the comma where you get it and you're like, this is not so bad,
Right.
or was it just like you're at home on a Saturday, you and your husband are out on the patio, with margaritas, and you're like, I could do this a little more often.
Right. What turned it up is one for me. I always had the big why. I wasn't
Okay.
going back to corporate America. I wasn't going back.
Okay.
Right. So that was a piece of that turned it up to me. So when I'm like, okay, I'm getting these checks, this can sustain my lifestyle. Right. So and I wasn't going back, no matter what I decided to do. I wasn't
Okay.
going back.
You burn the
Um,
boats. That's it.
yes,
It's a
that's
zero.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's absolutely it. And then just the people I surrounded myself with. So you asked me earlier if I did research and things. I did. I started going to real estate conferences, real estate events. I went to so many. I saw so many different programs. I'm not going to name them all because I'm not giving anybody. This isn't a free commercial here. But I started joining real estate groups. I went to meetups. I went in North Jersey. I went in South Jersey. I went in Philadelphia. And
Oh
I
wow.
spent time with people who were actively investing to understand what it looked like. At first, I'm like, do I want to be a wholesaler? Am I did not, I knew I wanted to flip. I knew I wanted to hold. But I didn't know if I wanted to be the bank, right? And just passively invest. So just learning my options and what other people were doing, that was a huge step for me. And then about 3 years ago, I met some gentlemen that had a vision about this Black investor group, right? So we all had been investing. We had been in these real estate rooms, all these conferences, and didn't see a lot of people that looked like us. So we wanted to have a place where there is a group of people that look like us that are doing the things that we can do and really bridge the informational gap. So all the information that sometimes we are not privy to, we wanted
Mm.
to bring in this room. So as I started that journey with the Black Investor Group, that really just lit the fire, right?
Right.
There's no going back, right? There's no going back from here. This is it for me. I love it. This is my life. So, you put that, the passion to help others with being the realtor, with investing, and you put that all together. Now I have a family, a group that we are all doing it together. Yeah, I'm sold.
That's
That's it. I'm
that.
in.
That's
I've
it.
been in. That's it.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's
Let's
go.
go.
You got
Let's
you
go.
got the group with you. You got the vision. Let's
Yes.
move.
Yes. Yes.
How important was it initially for you to invest in yourself and to really take the time to be in those rooms and driving to Philly, driving to these conferences. They some of them are cheaper, but some of them can
Yes.
get a little they can get fairly costly. So how
Yes.
important was that kind of immersion in the beginning?
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, you can get a lot of information off of YouTube TV, right? You can get YouTube University is what people call it.
Sure.
But actually getting out and meeting the people that are actively investing is invaluable. The relationships are everything. So, when you're in a deal or you're making an offer and you can pick up the phone and call a person to have a conversation, that was everything. And I say this to any investor, any new investor, if you were like me and you just have one property, educate yourself. Be around the people who are doing what you are looking to do to help you avoid some of the issues or the troubles that you find when you're investing. Because I've definitely had mine, right?
Let-
Like this lesson isn't free. You can pay for it one way or another, but you try to reduce that cost by educating yourself.
Right, right.
Yes,
There's the cost of tuition.
yes,
That's
there's
that's what
definitely a
that's what I
cost.
call it. That's
Yes.
what I call it. So we're gonna touch on the investment group later, but just walk through some of those early things that went sideways, right?
Okay.
And
Sure.
and how you conquered them. But like it's always what I try to tell people. There's okay, you get through it, but
Hmm.
there's something inside you that you have to turn on and turn up or push through. That's the
Yes.
internal muscle that you
Yes.
get, and that you get it over a bunch of years. It
Yes.
doesn't just you don't just wake up with it and you're running
Correct.
through walls, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
what was that like?
Yeah, so there definitely were some hard lessons, but you have to always be learning, right? And always be looking to improve yourself. So I'm going to give you a few examples of some lessons. So one of the first lessons I learned as a landlord. So I had my tenant. She was Section 8. I loved her to death. But she was in my place for 20 years. And guess how many times I raised her rent?
Right. How many?
None.
Got it.
Never, right? So, lesson learned. I'm a compassionate person, right? I care for people, but this is business. It's not personal. And I'm not saying go out and take advantage of people. That's not my point at all. But I have to operate my business as a business. This is not just about Monique and how I love and feel and all the gushy stuff. It's not, right? This is my life. This is my income.
Hmm.
So first lesson I learned is always, always, always increase your rent appropriately, right? I work with my tenants. I don't try to take advantage. If it's too much, I have conversations, to make sure it's affordable for them because I
Hmm.
do want them to continue to pay. But it's something that realistically, everything goes up. Food goes up, gas goes up. Inflation is what it is.
Right.
Rent goes up.
Right.
So that was lesson number one. Lesson number two, I did a partnership on a investment property on a flip. It was a good property to purchase for that. The challenge was my partners.
Got it.
And what I'm going to say is not like personally my partners. I'm going to say more the partnership. So, lesson number two, when you get into a partnership, it is important that you sit down and specifically talk about everyone's role and responsibility in the investment because that's where the challenge came in. And it was a financial lesson because we walked away not making any money and not
Got it.
getting our money back that we invested, right?
Got it.
So the
Got it.
house was beautiful. It sold. We were able to pay back all the money in the lenders, right? So I did the project. Great job. But that
Right.
can be a hard lesson if you don't really do your homework in the beginning
Hmm.
about who you're investing with. And so in the paperwork, you need to talk about the marriage, right? Like, okay, we're getting married and this is how we get married. But in the event we need to get divorced, what does that look like? Right. And in the meantime, who does what in this marriage? And let's put that on paper. Let's agree on it. And so then when you're actually in the deal, things go wrong, sideways, you have that agreement to go back to. And that's how you operate.
I agree.
So,
I agree 1,000,000%. And I've
yes,
had the same thing happen to me.
yes, yes.
It's better to spell it out early. Better
Yes,
to spell it
yes. So
out
that's
early.
lesson number two. Lesson
Mm.
number three, this is the last one. Like, there's a million of them, right? But lesson number three that
And
were
we're
big
waiting
for
for the
me.
book. We're
Yes,
waiting for the book.
they were big for me is my husband's a contractor. And I'm pretty handy, got muscles. So
Killing it.
we did a property together and we did the property. We're in there, we're in the basement, we're framing basement, we're laying tile, putting grout down in it. We tiled an entire basement. Talking about like 1,500 square feet of basement.
Wow.
We're tiling, they were big tiles. But nevertheless, like
Sure.
we're in there tiling and do not do all the work yourself. It
Okay.
know your value, right? Know your numbers when you go in as far as your repair cost and
Hmm.
and plan the money to hire people. Now there's certain things you can do like kitchens, bathrooms, smaller things if you want to take on a project because my husband still does some of those, but you cannot do the whole project by yourself. It takes too long and the costs outweigh the savings. The time eats
Right.
up the savings that you're trying to get to in the first place.
There's a huge opportunity cost where we
Yes.
spent 4 hours a night on the phone or with the bank or driving for property.
Yes.
It would be worth a lot more to you.
Right.
100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that was another lesson. I mean, we enjoyed every minute of it because
For
we like what we
sure.
do. But at the same time, it's all at the end of the day, you're trying to make money, right? Make this investment work for you. So those were probably some of the biggest lessons I learned along the way.
Okay. And you mentioned your husband's also a contractor. How important is it to have a spouse or a partner who's in a similar field? Because a
Hmm.
lot of people, I would it'd probably be about 50-50,
Hmm.
where one partner's in real estate, which is just a very different kind of
Yeah, different
lifestyle,
beast. Yes.
and the other person's 9 to 5 behind the desk, and you know there's not a lot of overlap. So
Yes. Yes.
how important is it that you guys are doing are in the same industry?
Yeah, it's important. It's a blessing. So, my husband still is 9 to 5. He's a union electrician full time, and he does the contracting part time. So it works very well for my business as a realtor, right? When I'm selling real estate, because he does repairs and improvements for all of my clients, whether it's FHA repairs, whether you buy the house, you want to do a new kitchen, new bathroom, take down some walls. He can care for everything. But I think the most important part is as an investor. and a realtor, and what I do, because my husband understands the real estate world, he knows I have to go. Like, I'm busy, I'm on the road a lot. So we don't have that conflict or battle when we're home. Like, where are you going? You're going all the time. And that
Yeah.
can be a challenge in some relationships. We don't have that because he understands what I do and he supports what I do, and vice versa. When he's out, repairing my client's house and he has to work and go here and go there, there's no
It works out. It
it
works
works.
out.
There's no angst. But there's a caveat to that, because what we do also is we vacation, right? So we
Okay.
work
Let's talk
pretty,
about that. Let's
yes,
talk
we
about that.
work pretty much every day, right? Like, we are workers, we're worker bees, and it's something that we both love to do. But we vacation, and we vacation pretty heavy.
Okay. Is
Yes.
that something that you plan for, or is it something like, you know what, we're tired, you know, let's hop on a plane, let's find somewhere warm, or
We there's a few ways we do plan for it. There's some vacations we go every year. So every year we're in Outer Banks, with
okay,
some family friends. We love that vacation. My husband likes to travel a lot to go to football games, so he does that with the boys. My girls and I love to go to the beach, so we, may fly to Florida or somewhere just to hit the beach for a while.
sure,
And then we like to do international trips, so we do plan them. This
right.
past year we went to Dubai.
That's right. You
Um,
were telling me.
yeah, that was a beautiful trip.
Amazing.
We plan on hitting Ghana this year in December.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, like I said, we work hard, but we play
You
hard. And
play
it's
hard.
important that you do, right? Because we don't see each other every day at home like normal people,
That
dinner at the
makes
same time, right?
right,
So
right.
since we don't do that, we take the time out for each other and we take these trips, and that's when we really get to keep our bond, which is important. That's everything.
That is everything,
Mhm.
and it's something that I guess we don't talk about often, because it makes what you do during the day so much easier when you
Mhm.
can come home and there's a level of synchronicity, and
Yes.
there's a level of peace, so you can go
Yes.
do the 12-15 hours and go crazy and yell on the phone, and you come home and everybody's kind of
Home
hanging
to-
out,
Yes. Come
and
home to peace. Come home
peace.
to peace. Yes,
it,
yes,
it, it,
yes.
it makes it
Yes.
it makes it easier. It
Yeah.
makes
It's
it a lot
important
easier.
that you put your, like, my value system, God and family, right? So family is right underneath there. So the other thing we do is every Sunday we have family dinner. And what we do is we don't make it difficult. Most of the time I cook, but if I can't, my dad will bring over dinner, or my brother will bring over dinner, or my daughter will cook. So
Sure.
everybody steps in, right? It's not about what we're eating, it's about the time that we spend together. So every Sunday, that's something that we do.
That's so important.
Because what is the value of money and these things without the relationships and the people that you care about, right? Where are they at? So that's something that's very important to myself
That's
and my husband.
I mean, that's it, right? We're
Hmm.
we're part of, call it, a larger community in a
Yes,
larger industry, and the people that we touch and the people that we work with. But then we have our own community, and we have our home,
yes,
which ends up being the nucleus of it, and you don't want one to suffer for the other, right?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
you're putting time in, and
yeah. And it's
it's
intentional. And sometimes the balance is difficult, but you have to make time
it,
for it.
I think you hit it right on the head, making it intentional,
Hmm.
taking, like, stopping the clock and taking that time to be able to, devote to your family, and, turning the phone off, or, in real estate, it's always the phone is there. The phone is never not there,
It's right.
right?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
floating. It's
Yes. You never
floating.
know when you get that call. Like, oh,
Right.
yeah,
Right. 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 So you segue to family, which is ultimately important, and I see this is just a very different generation coming up, right? The younger folks.
they are.
We didn't. I'm assuming we didn't grow up with the internet. We
No.
weren't. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So
that
we,
didn't
we
grow up with
remember.
the internet and things. I remember
Exactly.
encyclopedias. I don't know how you did your book reports,
Oh,
but
wait, we had encyclopedias in the hallway. We
yes,
had, I didn't see Google to or ask Jeeves at that point in college.
right,
Very
yeah,
different.
yes. I
Very
was on a
different.
typewriter, right? I was on a typewriter, so
I handed in my college applications. They were typewritten.
yeah, exactly, exactly, right.
So
After
we're not.
babies, you have to have all the correction tape and yeah,
Oh,
other things.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. We're not going to say too much. You can see a little bit of gray hair.
Oh,
We're
you're
not
right. You're right. Let me see if mine are hidden. Don't tell anybody.
right. We're not going to go too far into it.
Right.
But how do you pass on, whether it's a younger realtor or younger investor, or your kids, how do you pass on that message of investing, of hard work, of it's not Instagram, right? You're not just going to
Right.
pop up and and be flipping these $2 million homes.
Right.
It's something that requires a
Right.
level of work and dedication. It's not easy, right? So how do you how
No.
do you pass how do you pass the message and those values on?
You're right. It's not a sprint, right? It's a longer race that you're running. And a lot of people today, and especially the younger people, see all this on Instagram and TikTok or whatever, and it's so quick. It looks like you can instantly get it. You don't have to put any effort in that. So the first thing I do is lead by example, right? So my kids see what I do, but I talk to them about what I do. I show them what I do. I immerse them in what I do. So they've come with me to properties. They've come with me to open houses. They've seen the flips that we've done. They've come and they put in some labor and some work with them. So my younger brother, he has an investment property, so he's already investing. We were doing like Sunday meetings, so like family meetings. So whether you wanted to invest in real estate or whatever type of business, we talked about that. So like my younger brother has his own business and he's investing. My son has his own business. It's like a muscle up club, and they do um, apparel. Right. And so it's something he started. My daughter had a cleaning business. She's on and off with it, but she has her own business. These are all LLCs, right? These are all businesses that can be funded, get business funding and things like that. And then my youngest son, he did Toro. He did rental cars while he was in
What?
college. So him and
Okay.
his roommate had 5 cars. He had 3. And so they had their LLC and they were renting cars, and that was their money that funded their lifestyle in college. So I taught them, right? I spent the time. Everything I learned about building an LLC and getting business credit, I taught them. And they've taken it. Now, some of them have taken it a little further than others because, again,
Sure.
this generation is a little different and they do
Yeah.
have to find their own path.
Sure.
But that's what I did. I just had to spend the time sharing and showing everything I learned. As I learned it, they learned it too. That's it.
That's beautiful. That's
Hmm.
beautiful. That's a legacy, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I think it's incumbent upon us, right, as adults. I'm not going to say elder or anything, right?
Right. Right. Right.
But as
Yes.
senior professionals,
Senior
let's say
professional. I like that. That's it. That's my new label. Senior
senior
professional.
professionals, to
Yes.
grab these kids, you know, and
Yes.
really show them all the lessons and all the things that we've learned
Yes. And
over
teach them
over the
how to fish, right? Because what
right.
happens, especially so much in our community, is we'll build this wealth and then you have to hand it off, right? Because you can't take this with you when you go. It's
Sure.
gone. So if you don't teach them how to manage it, how to take care of it, then it winds up getting lost. They sell it, they lose it, they blow the money. So it was important to me that at least my children understood basic financial literacy and basic business management and those things. So when it's time for it to be passed on to them, they know how to make good financial decisions with what they have, not just blow it. And that happens too often, and it hurts me to my heart every time I see it. I get the calls all the time. My mother passed and we have to sell the house and we're splitting the money with everybody, and then everybody splits the money and the money's gone. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
you have to teach them what to do with it so your legacy and this wealth is generational and it continues.
And I feel that the school system, even to a collegiate level, is not really pushing this kind of basic financial literacy. You really have to go out and look for it. You have to
Yes.
have that kind of spark to go and find it, or have someone who's in your home or near you,
Yes.
enforcing it, because it's not something common.
Yeah,
I
but when
think
we
we
look at our brothers and sisters in other cultures, that's what they do. These restaurants, these family businesses that they have been in bed and they have been raised in that, so they know what to do to hand it down to the next. It's an expectation, right? And
right.
so they've been raised from the beginning with that. And so we have to do a better job of doing that with our young people. It doesn't matter if they're 5 7, start them with bank accounts, bring them to the restaurant, bring them to when you have a table out and you're selling your bags or whatever whatever your business is, take them with you, have them participate so they understand and they learn and they can continue the legacy.
I agree 1,000,000%. I agree 1,000,000%. And what that does, on the other hand, is it kind of demystifies business, right?
Mm-hmm.
If your parent is running a successful business, you
Mm-hmm.
get to see all the inner workings. You get to see, you know, how to make a phone call, how to make 100 calls. You get to see balancing the books. You get to see, you know,
Yes.
yeah, paint it first because the paint adds the most value. The little things
Yes.
that a person kind of walking into an office or walking into a business that's owned by a stranger might not see.
Yes, exactly.
Might not see. Now, you are regionally in South Jersey,
Yes.
and Philly.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm located in South Jersey. That's where I live.
Okay.
That's where my most of my clients are, but I'm licensed in PA as well.
Okay.
And I travel. I've sold properties and purchased properties in Maplewood and Union and Irvington. I have one now under contract in Asbury, New Jersey, up in Hunterdon County. Uh,
Okay.
so have car will travel. Um, so
Oh,
I
let's.
don't really turn down a ton of business. So yeah, licensed in New Jersey and PA, and I pretty much now I'm not going out to Eastern PA and Pittsburgh. That's where my
Okay.
youngest son lives. I don't travel out that far.
Sure.
But I do go out into PA. I wander a little bit, just depending on
Okay.
what my clients' needs are. Mhm.
Now, do you feel, and we'll get into big in a moment. Do you feel like in some of these more residential communities, you're seeing this uptick in investors and the kind of startup investors where folks maybe have a little equity in their home and want to, want to put that money to work?
I've seen an uptick in investors, and I'm going to honestly say in South Jersey, what I've been seeing I want to say this last 2 years
Okay.
is an uptick in new builds. Now, I don't know the
Okay.
history of all these investors that are down here, but these new houses are going up everywhere. And I'm not just talking about new whole developments like, the large Ryan homes and all them. I'm talking about these people are buying land, they're building a house one at a time, and it is everywhere down here. I'm seeing a lot of
Interesting.
that. Yeah, and I don't know if they're like pulling equity out of their home or what is starting the interest in this, but it's a lot of, and it's not all the same people. It's not all the same
Interesting.
people. Hmm.
So what I've seen is investment is starting to run your way because New York is New York, right? And
Hmm.
then northern New Jersey has just gotten very expensive. And if you're looking for returns, especially if you're looking to build residential homes, there's
Hmm.
such a huge investment in land, and construction costs are where they are. So you know, you're seeing it go into central and southern
Yes.
Jersey because you
Hmm.
can you can buy a home, you can buy a lot, you can build a home and get the rent and get a decent return if you decide to sell it. It's just
Yes.
it's just very expensive up here,
Yes.
so
Yes.
the money's going your way.
Yes. 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 I'm welcoming it. Come on down. I'm welcoming it. Yes.
So so you're seeing activity, you're out in the market, you're running around, you're making the dollars, and you see a need for a level of education, a level of community, and call it the investment group or investors of color in your
Hmm.
area regionally. What was what was your first kind of introduction to that? And then how did you, because it's very successful and you guys are celebrating your third year, right?
Yes. Tomorrow we're celebrating 3 years that our group has been together.
Amen. Popping
Yeah.
bottles. Let's go.
Yes. 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 Yes.
So
And so
go ahead.
the way I was introduced is I met a group of gentlemen at an investment group that we all are members of, and we started having a conversation because again, there wasn't a ton of people in the room that looked like us.
Okay.
So we started talking about our investment journey together, and they mentioned that they had started a group especially for that reason because there's not a lot of us in this room, especially in the South Jersey area. It's just There's
Interesting.
we're definitely a minority here.
Okay.
So they were telling me about the group, and they all they needed was a space. They're like, we need a space to have these meetings every month, and I'm like, well, I have a space.
I've
So
got an
they're like,
office.
oh, yeah. I'm like, you want to meet me there so you can see it? And they're like, sure. So that's where it started 3 years ago, and they started meeting here. But the vision, the contribution, the give back, the people was the fire for me. So, I mean, from that point, I've been a part. So it's actually just two of us now, and we have been working this, bringing in members, bringing in events, bringing in speakers, sharing the education, helping people with their investments, helping them find properties, and we've been doing this together for the past 3 years. And when I say it's a labor of love, it is. We love what we do. We want to see other people successful. We want to grow together. And yeah, that's just how I got started. And then once I got started, I was hooked. So now we're 3 years in.
Right.
We have 30 members, 30 paid members and
Wow.
growing. And we just started actually paid membership in January.
Okay.
So 30 paid members and growing. We have about 70 something people scheduled to come to our meeting today. To our party tomorrow. So yeah, we're excited that we were able to start this group and see it grow. And we're not finished. We're
No.
not done yet. No. And we've been partnered. There's other groups in New Jersey that we're starting to partner with as well. So some of them are coming out to support us. So we're not finished. We have a lot more work to do, and we're excited about the difference we can make in our community and in people's lives.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it. I see it.
Yeah.
I was a speaker at one of the events,
Yes, you
and
were. Thank you
and
so
of
much.
course,
You have to come back this year. You have to come back because we're looking forward to more information. So
I,
please come back.
I'm ready to go. I enjoyed the drive, right?
Yes,
And the
yes,
snacks, and the snacks
yes.
were always good. Um,
And coffee.
and coffee. Oh yeah, that's in my
Yes,
rider. That's in
yes,
my
yes,
speaker rider. Plenty of
yes,
caffeine.
yes.
Uh, what I saw was I wasn't surprised at the amount of people,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a crowd. There was a crowd
Mm-hmm.
there, thankfully. But
Mm-hmm.
it was all of these folks had a different journey and were owners.
Yes.
And they were owners of sometimes multiple properties, and they were kind of leveling up to commercial, which was part of the speech.
Mm-hmm.
And they were determined, and they had come from various backgrounds, and they were all regional, but they were all owners, which was fantastic, of all
Yes.
ages, all ages, shapes, and sizes, which
Yes.
really goes to the reach that you have,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where there is a market for this. There are a group of people that need this information and that are rocking and rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were on their fourth property, fourth, fifth
Yes.
property, and really invested, and really,
Yes.
really invested. So
Yes.
how do you, and this will be a little bit of a brainstorm, right? How do you scale that? Or how do you want to scale that?
Yes. So we've been definitely talking about that and just identifying where everyone in our group is and having the conversations about what they want to get to and then what's in the way and holding them back. So,
Okay.
like you said, we have several people in the room who are investing. They have one property, they have multiple properties. However, they've acquired them, they have them. But we still have people who have some credit challenges, right? And they're working to get business credit. We have some people who, need money, right? Money
Right.
is having the money to even start the project. I know a lot of people say that you can do real estate with no money, and there's ways, but bringing them in the room and pointing them in the direction of what they need and what's missing. So we've been doing a deep dive into that. So we started doing, this is now a part of our group, is stock investing,
Okay.
right? To help raise capital so that you have money to invest. And we do it different ways, whether it's just buying ETFs and, earning dividends or options. And, people do a lot of that. And so now that's a way to generate the capital that you need to invest in
To
real
invest.
estate.
Okay.
Um, we had the gentleman come in who teaches the class on Toro investing and how to use the rental car platform to generate additional income. Whether it's, sometimes people just need money outside of their regular 9 to 5.
Right.
So we've done that. We also have a young lady who helps you build your personal profile to be ready to get business credit.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
that's specifically what she does. And so what we're doing is we're making this a part of B.I.G, right? When you come here, you have access to these things. So, we'll have a meeting, you'll come in and talk specifically about, let's just say, stocks. We also have a workshop that's 5 weeks. And then after the workshop, if you still think you need more, there's a mentorship available, right?
Got
Something
it.
that's realistic. Because what happens is that 1 hour is not enough. And that's what
Right.
we, right?
Right. You have to
So if
service
you're
them and educate them a
exactly, and
little more.
educate them where you are, so that we're building that out, that education platform where it continues, so that we're meeting you exactly where you need. And if you need the private mentorship, that's available for you also. The same with investing. It's going to be the same thing. We'll talk about investing, and then we'll have a workshop on helping you identify your path in investing.
Hmm.
And then if you need the mentorship, it's available.
Okay.
We have a gentleman that he does business coach, but I love it because he talks about finding your destination, right? Your personal goals, what makes you happy, right? And then let's build your map to that. Right. So, and then
Beautiful.
now we can identify if you want to flip, be a wholesaler, all those things, but he helps you with that whole journey. So he's spoken here at Big before. He'll be back again this year, but that's going to be another something else you have access to. So
Right.
you want to start this business, you want to, what's your plan? How do we get there? What are the systems and tools you need to get there? How do you level up? Right. And so he walks you through that whole journey. So that's how we have been identifying, just like identifying the pain points of where our people are now, where they're
Mm.
looking to go, and then what's the missing piece. And we've just been trying to fill that in.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like it's more of an education that they're lacking, or is it just access to capital, or or probably both, equally as much?
In our group, it's both, because we have people who are ready, who have the capital, but they're not sure what they want to do or how they want to do it. It's also a level of trust. It's also a level of building relationships, right? So the more time we spend together, because we're a family, like everybody's a part. This is our group. It's not just Monique's group and Marcus is my partner. It's not just, it's all of us. So we
Hmm.
all contribute feedback on what is needed, and then you build those relationships and those bonds. So now when you are investing together or having those conversations about what you're doing it with a trusted partner in person. So
Right.
it's a combination of that education, the financial backing to be able to accomplish the goal, as well as just the relationships and the trusted relationships you need to move forward.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a lot easier to even talk about a transaction or work through a transaction with someone after you've been face to face and you've
Yes,
worked
and
with
then
them before.
you've seen their work. So we did a bus tour this year where we
Hmm.
took our group out to see properties that we were currently working on, some properties in progress, and went through numbers and the rehab and what we're doing. And then we also took them to some potential investment properties and did the same type of exercise, right? And
Got it.
so now they're seeing exactly what we are doing, what we understand, and we're doing this together as a group. It builds a level of trust. It
That's
just does. Yeah.
fantastic.
Hmm.
That's fantastic. Wow. So here's the question before we wrap up.
Okay.
You're doing it, Monique, and you are hands down one of my favorite people.
Oh, thank you.
You are hands down one of my favorite people. Um, what we've seen in Jersey, specifically around the country, is we have these pockets of distress, right? South Jersey, there's a handful of them. Clearly in Philadelphia, there's a handful of them. Um, Now we're getting to the point where information is accessible.
Hmm.
There are numbers, there are groups of investors who have the dollars, who have clearly the leadership. I just like to get your thought on how we, right, the Camdens of the world. You
Hmm.
know, we love Atlantic City. It's going through
Hmm.
its own revitalization and revolution.
Yes.
There's
Yeah. We have the Millvilles, we have the Gloucester cities, we have the Paulsboroughs of the world.
right.
Hmm.
How
Hmm.
do we take what you've clearly done and started,
Hmm.
right? And I'm not asking for the magic wand, right?
Right, right, right,
It
right,
sounds like a magic wand question. We're
right.
not asking for the magic wand. How do you take that kind of genesis and that the work that you've put in, the capital and the team and the investor group and all the education, and how do we point it at these places and try to make them work, right? There's
Hmm.
you know
Yeah. Yep. And that's where the magic happens. And
okay.
so it's conversations like this, it's relationships with people like you.
Mm,
We have the investors in the room. We give them access to the properties and the capital that they need to make these deals happen, and it happens. And a lot of us in the room have come from Camden, have come from these cities. A lot of people in the room reinvest in where they come from, and we want to continue to. So it's the partnership and the access. And as long as we point to this direction and we give them, like, the pathway is open, it's realistic, they can accomplish it, they will do it. So that's when we together buy blocks, right? And make improvement in the city, in the cities that we're working in, that cities that we're from. So that's really the goal. When we talk about investing as a collaborative, we talk about investing as a collaborative in the cities that we come from and keeping our people in place, right? So not just redoing these houses and making them beautiful and selling them for these exorbitant amounts of money where the people we grew up with can't afford them. We're trying to keep them affordable for our family, our friends, the future, right?
right.
Of our communities. So that's where the magic happens. And again, there's other groups in New Jersey that
Hmm.
are doing similar things. Their goals are a little different, but we are now partnering this year so we can align to make sure that we are touching our community. And it's a goal for us in 2020, ending 2025, going to 2026, on buying as a collaborative in these cities that definitely need our help.
Monique for mayor, everybody.
We're not
Monique,
going that far. We're not going that far.
Monique 2026, get the
I
buttons.
like I like to be behind the scenes. I don't need the accolades and the titles. I get joy from seeing the success and the happiness and the children happy, and people prospering and the wealth being passed. Those are the things that make me happy. I'll stay behind the scenes. I'll help the mayor. I'll work with the mayor, but I'll be behind the mayor's back. How about that?
Got it. Got it. Monique, it has been such a pleasure speaking to you. You've done these amazing things. If you
Thank
ever
you.
need anything from me, you let me know.
Okay.
I can't wait. I think we've got a conference down there. I'll make sure that I stop
Oh,
in to
yes, we're
check in.
definitely going to connect. We're definitely going to connect when you come down, and we'll definitely be in contact. And I look forward to working with you. Good things to come. Yeah.
I can't wait. This will be a great episode when it airs. Thank
Yes, I love it.
thank you, Monique. Thank
Thank
you
you for
so much
having
for
me.
your
I
time.
appreciate you. All right.
Take care.
Bye bye.